Are you ready?
I
Hi
am
there.
ready.
Hi there. I'm Julie Turner, and I am with Paragon Franchise Consulting. And myself and my good friend Caitlin are going to start a new series today. I know you guys are super excited. You're always excited, right? So today we are going to get you ready to start your business or to grow your business wherever you're at. The new series is going to be called Business 411 because we are going to bring you any information that you want. Now, if you are watching this video as we speak, whatever platform it's on, please don't hesitate to make comments, to ask questions, or to reach out if you have a specific question for myself or my guest of the day. So, without further ado, I would love to introduce you to my first ever guest on Business 411. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hello, everybody.
So this is Caitlin Vargas, and she is a commercial, is that the right word?
Property and casualty. So I do home, auto, and business insurance.
Okay, so she does insurance. Now, I got to tell you guys, I have been in business for longer than I'd like to admit to being alive. And for a long time, I did not have the right insurance. I had insurance, I thought I was covered. And thankfully, nothing happened that it was an issue. But now I realize what it is to have the proper insurance. And I'm so grateful to have someone like Caitlin in my life that I can just reach out and say, hey, I've got a client and they're going to go into this business. Can you please give them some information? And she's got it. I don't have to Google search. They don't have to Google search. So Caitlin, super grateful for you. Now, let's make this a little bit personal so you guys get to know Caitlin a little bit before we get into the business end of things. What brought you to insurance to begin with?
So after graduating from UNCW, I worked for a roofing company for a while, and I handled a lot of their roofing claims. So people would call me, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't get all my money. How am I supposed to pay you guys?" And we'd set up payment plans according to how the insurance pays when you file a claim. So I had to do a lot of self-education and figure out how the whole claims process works in insurance to help my clients. And then eventually I was like, hey, I kind of like insurance. Why don't I do this? So I got licensed and now here I am.
Well, I kind of like insurance. I'm not sure that a lot of people say that, but I agree with you. Back in a former life, I actually had a different type of insurance. I had life and disability and critical illness insurance. Like I was licensed to supply people with that, and I loved the education around it. I loved the just learning more about it. So I don't blame you there, but it wasn't my industry, that's for sure. So before we get too far into this today, and we'll keep it short so that people just get the answers that they might need, but where can they reach out to you just in case we forget to mention that later?
Yeah. My personal cell is 980-228-6006. Feel free to call or text at any time if you have any questions. And my work email is cvargas@romeoins.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So
Sure.
now all sizes of business need insurance for one reason or another, I'm sure. And you work, I'm guessing, with businesses in every extreme.
Yes.
So let's say a business is completely online and nobody comes to their premise. What kind of insurance would they need? Because a lot of those people don't think that they need insurance. So what would they need or could they need?
We have several different, it honestly depends on the industry. So if you're selling products to customers solely through, online websites, we can protect those products and the services you provide. So if somebody receives a faulty product, you're not liable for any injuries that result from it. Protecting your identity online is a huge one now that we're seeing a lot more of. Yeah. So we have certain coverages that protect that, your banking information, whatnot. Honestly, it depends on the circumstance. Everybody is going to need different coverages depending on the products and services that you provide. So where I come into play is just asking the right questions and making sure that we cover every aspect of your business.
So is it fair to say that, if somebody comes to you and they tell you everything that's going on, that the underwriting process is the most important process when it comes to something like that? Is that fair to say? Nothing is created equal in the insurance world, so it just really depends. What would that look like for the average, let's say the average retail business now? So people are coming onto the premise, and maybe it is, oh, let's just make it personal. And please, if there's anything that you're like, I don't know, or I don't know that answer at this moment, I'll get back to you. That's okay, because then we can do a follow-up. I do love follow-ups almost as much as I love Christ about Rach. So it's a business where people come and it's retail. They buy products, but they also get consultations. They're also like working with a human to better themselves. That would probably take a few different types of insurance, I'm guessing. Is that correct?
Yes. So there's also, and for hospitals and doctors, we call it a malpractice coverage. So if you're consulting with people and, you accidentally give them the wrong information, you could be liable for that. Or, you're providing them with advice, or as long as it's within your realm of practice, we can cover you for that. In case you did accidentally say the wrong thing, we're all human. We can provide coverage for that to protect you. Because if not, people can sue you and then your assets, and it turns into a whole mess. But if you're covered for it, you're less likely to be liable and have to deal with the headache of hiring lawyers and doing all that craziness. So,
right. So what happens? A lot of people think, oh, I've got a consent form. They've signed my consent form, so I'm now covered. Is that true? Are they covered by the consent form?
Not always. We actually have, my best friend was at a trampoline park, signed a consent form. As you all know, she was with her 2 kids that she nannies for, and snapped her leg in half at the trampoline park. And just because she signed that little waiver saying that they're not liable does not mean that they are not liable. It only covers certain portions of injuries, and her injury did not fall under that consent form. So she hired a lawyer, and now the trampoline park is being sued. But every situation is different. Of course, certain waivers protect you more if you hire the right lawyer to look over them. But we do cover for situations like that as well.
Awesome. That's great. Is there anything, if somebody was starting a business today and they reached out and said, what is the basic that I need? Like, what do they need to really make sure that they've got under wraps before they open up those doors or turn on that computer, whatever the case may be? Is there something very basic that you start with?
Honestly, it just depends on the services that you provide. I give completely free quotes. So if you are trying to start up a business, I always recommend reaching out to somebody and just telling them what you do, because most people don't know what coverages they need. I just gave a quote to a guy that's starting a dumpster removal company. And he didn't know that you had to insure the truck, the trailer, and then everything that, the liability associated with doing that kind of work. He thought, you just had to get basic coverage and you were covered. But, there's a lot of different factors that go into it. So I can't give a basic answer because not everybody needs the same coverages.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that we've probably caused a lot of people to have a lot of questions, which is awesome. You guys know I love questions, concerns, and cries about rage. So Catlin has already given her phone number and her email address, but we'll probably put it in the comments as well, just so that you guys have a clue who to reach out to. And I hope that this was in some way, shape, or form either helpful or thought-provoking. Yes, let's go with thought-provoking. And thank you, Catlin, for the thought on the business 411. I was going to call it 911. That sounded kind of scary. So it was Catlin's suggestion to call it 411. And I'm grateful. I'm super grateful to have this chat with you today, Caitlin. And don't go anywhere when we're done because I have questions personally.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. You guys take care and reach out anytime. And I will be back soon with another Business 411. Talk to you soon.